Hey guys, hope you're doing alright. I recognise it looks like I'm wearing the same clothes for about a week now, but I'm filming this all in one day, so I promise I'm not that smelly. Our passage today comes towards near the end of the plagues. We've got through a few of them, and the plagues are scary things, but we got to the plague of hail, and there's this bit that's really interesting when God warns the people of Egypt about the plague. And he says to Moses, get up early and go and tell them this is going to happen, so that they can actually take their livestock in, they can save themselves from the plague, which he doesn't do for any kind of other plagues. And it is, I mean, I struggle a little bit with the plagues. Sometimes I struggle with a lot of stuff in the Old Testament where it seems like God is quite violent, God is quite angry, or God seems very different from the God we see of love and mercy in the New Testament. And I don't think there's an easy answer to that. I think there's a few things we have to hold, and we have to recognise that it's a different culture, so symbols and signs and characteristics mean different things. And actually the economy of God actually is quite different to ours in the sense that he values quality over quantity of time. He values a good life over a long life, and lots of things like that we have to kind of hold and chat about. But one of the main things that we can know from this passage is that God is definitely a God of the underdog, and he's vying for freedom, and he's a God of justice, but he's also a God of mercy. And this passage reflects that so beautifully, because what he says, you need to let people go, there needs to be just, but at the same time, if your people can save themselves and want to trust me, they can. It's really interesting that the notes for this passage in the devotional guide talk about how the people who are Egyptian, who take their livestock in, must have been, and these rites must have been a little bit like looked at a bit weird, like it's taking a while to get your cows in. It's going to look a bit different. It's going to stand out, and actually sometimes we can feel like that, like we're doing something that stands out, and actually that's not a bad thing. I was listening to a speaker this morning who was chatting about how when he goes and sees his daughter do her Christmas assembly, and she goes on stage and like kind of shuffles on with all these people, and when the teacher's not looking, she just looks at her dad and just goes like that and waves, and he just goes and waves back. And it's as if when she walks on stage, she's so nervous, and then she sees her dad's eyes and she brightens up and she goes, oh, he's looking at me, he's looking at me. And actually, what is more important is looking for God's approval and God's will and God's eyes in everything, rather than what other people are doing, what other people are looking at. What does that look like for us now? I really don't know, because we're alone a lot, but we've still got choices about how we spend our time. We can either, it's not bad to spend your time on FaceTime with friends and like be involved in the community and people at school, but there's such a time to pray and to read your Bible, to get involved with church and youth and all that stuff. And when we go back and everything becomes a bit more normal again, actually those patterns are going to be a bit weird and a bit different to other people. But if we look for God's approval in everything, that is the most important thing. God's opinion of you is what matters more than anyone else's. I've got a song for you today I've sent it with, and it's called Fix My Eyes by someone called Stephanie Rose, who's a friend of mine, and it's a great song about how God is the one that defines us, God is the one that forms us, God is the one that makes us, so I'm going to fix my eyes and do everything for him. Hope you have a great day, guys. See you later.